sports, politics, and more with John Brown and Nick Durst, live on the UCY.TV network.
Spamming your radios coast to coast and all around the world. This is sports, politics, and more. Coming to you live tonight from New York City. I am your host, Andrew Pollack. Normally my other co-host, Nick Durst, is online. Apparently he's missing in action right now. I just want to check to see if I'm on the air right now, which clearly says I am. I'll be right back. Okay, sorry about that little technical difficulty, everyone. I wanted to make sure that the live stream is working. It is working 100%. Skype says that I am on the air, and I am clearly am on the air. So let me recap. Yes, welcome to Sports, Politics, and More. I am your host for tonight, Andrew Pollack. Our usual host, Nick Durst and John Brown, are missing in action right now. I will, of course, add them to the call if they are going to be on the air. But yes, welcome to tonight's show. We have a lot to talk about. We're going to talk about James Comey getting fired by President Trump, in which a lot of Democrats have been complaining, saying that, oh, well, why didn't you do it sooner? And then all of a sudden, the Democratic Party becomes a bunch of hypocrites. We'll get into that. We're also going to talk about how hot the New York Yankees have been lately. They had a very good road trip, winning the last 4 out of 5 games. So we're also going to get into that. And more importantly, you are always welcome to join our interesting little chat. So if you want the phone number, our phone number is 1-718-717-8296. And I will be monitoring everybody's chat in the chat room tonight. I, of course, will be responding to everybody. So let's start off with the fact that James Comey, yes, now the former director of the Federal Bureau of Investigation, was fired. Oh, jeez. Let me mute that because that's not good. Back on topic, yes. So yesterday, President Trump fired the head of the FBI, James Comey, which now the Democratic Party has become a bunch of hypocrites. Now, you may be wondering to yourself as you're listening to this, well, why are the Democrats becoming a bunch of hypocrites? Well, I'll explain that right now. You see, months ago, they were begging President Trump to fire James Comey. But, and I mean but, until yesterday, when the news broke right before 6 o'clock last night, every Democrat was freaking out over the news that James Comey was fired by President Trump. Now, they're a bunch of hypocrites for one reason. Today, you have Schumer, and then you have Blumenthal opening their mouths saying, oh, well, listen, James Comey was the one investigating the Russian WikiLeaks, and now all of a sudden, this is not good. He's in the middle of the investigation. Well, you dumb morons, do you realize that you were the same people for the past almost 6 months begging President Trump to fire James Comey? So today, you proved yourselves why you are hypocrites. So, I'm obviously going to say that Chuck Schumer and easily Richard Blumenthal are hypocrites. But let's bring in the Republicans in name only here for a second. Because McCain opened his mouth again. We're not going to get into that because that's going to trigger a whole controversy in the chat room. But we're also going to talk about some no-name Republicans, which I'm not going to call them out by name, that were upset, saying that it's the same alliance with the Democrats. These people who are part of the swamp that Trump was trying to drain. Well, listen, we're trying our best to, align ourselves with the Republicans now. These are the loyalists that are part of the big government. Well, yeah, because they only care about their special interest, which are money. Getting off topic, the Republicans in name only, yes, they are hypocrites too. Basically, the swamp is a bunch of hypocrites. I'm going to end it from there. Because if we go into why both parties are hypocritical lately, then I'm just lost for words. I'm sorry. Every time I have to watch the news today, either it's ABC, either it's One America Network, I have to watch the same Republicans in name only or the same Democratic hypocrites go on camera and say why they didn't want James Comey fired. And to end my point here, because we have to do the 10 of 10 list in a couple of minutes, my point is the only reason why the Republicans in name only and the Democratic hypocrites are so upset, and I brought this up earlier, and if you guys missed it, I'm going to say it again. The only reason why they're upset that President Trump fired James Comey was for the Russian WikiLeaks. And there's no reason why they need to bring up Hillary Clinton. Hillary Clinton, yes, we understand that she was part of the WikiLeaks. But overall, the Russians during the previous election were accused of hacking our democratic system. So a bunch of all these swampers, yes, I'm going to call them swampers, because I'm so annoyed with all these hypocrites and rhinos, are only caring about themselves just to get ready for next year's midterm elections. That's why they're going all over the news today saying that they wanted Comey to stay involved with the investigation. So that's where I'm going to end it from there, because I've just had enough chat talking about this. I'm sick and tired of seeing this on the news. Please. I've had to deal with it for a day now. All right, I'm just going to monitor the chat for a sec here. What's going on? So far, Otto is not making anything relatable to the show right now because he's our main chatter during this hour. So let's stick back to the slate. It is 8:10, and now it is time for our weekly 10 at 10 list. Normally, we would have our hosts Nick Durst and John Brown react like they normally do to my list, but I don't know what's going on. My host texted me on Facebook earlier tonight saying that they were going to be on, but now all of a sudden they're missing in action. So that's not very professional of them, but, you know, if they are listening, Nick and John, I love working with you guys every week, and it's always a pleasure to do this show with you every week. And if they're not on this week, hopefully we get them back on next week. And before I go into the 10 of 10 list, host John Brown, he hasn't been heard from in a while. I'm actually going to get into that reason for a sec. So if you missed last week's show, John's wife gave birth to their second child, and I never got to properly congratulate John on the birth of his child. So if he is listening live or on the podcast, I want to properly congratulate him on the birth of his second child. And privately off the air, he has told me that he doesn't want any more children, and I completely agree with him. But here's what's been going on, I think, since last week or since Monday. Or I don't even know what day it was because Nick and I were constantly talking. So basically, Nick texted me about at 7:45 Eastern, and he told me that he hasn't heard back from John. And I'm a little worried that John is missing in action because, you know, his newborn is 2 weeks old by now, and this is what happens when you have people missing in action, folks. But I'm here. That's all that matters. We have a show. As everybody says, the show must go on. And this is where we our next topic, the weekly 10 of 10 list. And this is what me and Nick agreed on. I think Monday, it was. Or Sunday, I don't remember, but is top 10 things to eat at a wedding. Now, the inspiration for this list came from a topic that me and Nick were talking about randomly, and this has to do with a cousin, believe it or not, that Nick actually knows, one of my cousins, mutually. So this cousin, who I'm not going to name on the air, but I will tell you where the wedding was. This cousin of mine, who I've known completely almost my life, honestly, thanks to my mom's side of the family, got married to a very, very beautiful and lucky lady this past weekend in upstate New York at the Turning Stone Casino. That's where I'm going to go specific onto that topic. But the inspiration came, me and Nick were talking on Facebook, so here we go. The top 10 things to eat at a wedding. I always start from 10 to 1. So I will do my own reaction this week since Nick and John are not with us right now on the air. Here we go. Number 10, fruit. Now, fruit is okay. I mean, if you have grapes at a wedding or maybe watermelon, that would be reasonable. Something that you want to have at hors d'oeuvres. So I figured fruit would be lesser of the evils at number 10. Number 9, I easily came with because I orders at my cousin's wedding, cheese platter. Now, you may be thinking to yourself, why would you come up with a cheese platter? Well, most of the time you go to a wedding in general, you will get hors d'oeuvres that have cheese platters. And there were a bunch. There were specific ones that I'm not going to get into because one of my cousins who was at the wedding was really into the cheese platter. So, yeah. I think most of it was cheddar, now that I do recall. So, that's where we're going to end it. Number pigs in a blanket. Now, the reason why I bring up pigs in a blanket, last year, my mother's friends got me last summer, and there was a way bigger hors d'oeuvre style, it was Las Vegas style hors d'oeuvre buffet. And one of the things that they were serving was pigs in a blanket. And I was upset that my cousins didn't have that at the hors d'oeuvres, but I guess the casino didn't have that as an option. So, yeah, pigs in a blanket's very good. Bologna. Now, the reason why I bring up bologna was I had a ton of it during hors d'oeuvres. Like, I couldn't find anything good at hors d'oeuvres, but the only good thing I could grab, and my mom recommended me this, was bologna. Bologna, you go to a deli, you normally get it, but they had them in slices, so that's why I'm putting number 7, bologna. So from 6 to 1, oh, actually from 6 to 2, sorry, we're going to talk about the main dish. I almost gave away number 1. Back on topic. Number 6, lasagna. Yes, lasagna is very good to have for a main dish at a wedding. Sometimes caterers will offer lasagna on their menus for the main course. So that's where I put lasagna. Now, the next two that I'm going to bring up was actually the 2 main dishes that they served at the dinner buffet for my cousin's wedding this past weekend. And there's a reason why I numbered it differently. So number 5, steak. Well, most of the time on a menu, you'll see steak on it. And I did see steak at my mom's friend's daughter's wedding. That was on the menu. And I was more into number 4, and that is salmon. Salmon is an excellent main course to have at a wedding, one of the best. And the salmon that Turning Stone did, whoever made it, if they are listening, whoever cooked that salmon at my cousin's wedding, which was this past Saturday, May 6th, at Turning Stone, I want to thank her out and whoever put the served us the salmon, because it was very delicious, devouring it. So you'll see salmon most of the time on a wedding menu because caterers will do that. So number 4 is salmon. And number 3, this is something that should have been served during hors d'oeuvre, maybe as a side dish, but I guess, wasn't at the buffet. And I actually got this from the not.com. So number 3, pasta with meatballs. Very good option if you want to go simple and you don't want to go big during your main dish at a wedding. Number 2, and this is actually my favorite main dish to eat at a wedding, chicken parmesan. Now, sometimes at weddings, you'll see chicken parmesan on a menu. But sometimes you'll also see veal or whatever parmesan they'll serve. Wait a minute, eggplant just popped into my head. So it's usually eggplant, veal, or chicken parmesan that you usually will see on a wedding menu. So overall, we'll just put wherever has Parmesan cheese on it at number 2. And the obvious number 1 has to be the wedding cake. Has to be wedding cake. If it's not wedding cake, then something isn't right with me. And there you have it, my weekly 10 of 10 list. I know that it's something interesting that I came up with this week, but I want to thank Nick Durst, obviously, for letting me do this list by myself, which I wish he was around to react to it, but I guess he's not. All right, so I'm going to check the chat room and see what's going on in there. Okay, here's a good comment from Otto. Bologna at weddings in Tennessee, both with ketchup or without. So there's a good sign I'm still on the air. Let's see. Oh, here's another one. Worst food at a wedding is chicken fried steak, gravy, mashed potatoes, and corn. Well, Otto's probably giving us an idea of what is served down south at a wedding. And for most people who are not familiar with Northeast weddings, because I was upstate New York this weekend, most of the time in upstate New York, which I actually found out from my new cousin, she told me that in upstate New York, they're really into seafood. They're really into it. So that's why she talked to my other cousin, the cousin that I knew in my family, about seafood at the wedding, and the best choice they can come up with was salmon. So, yeah, let's see what else we got in the chat. China buffet. All those Chinese buffets you get in general. I'll talk about that in a second. I'm just looking through the chat because you want to kill the airtime. Let's see. Cheap beer. All right, so nothing relevant from Otto at the point regarding my 10 of 10 list. Let's see here now. I'm going to see. Oh, guess what, everyone? Nick actually just texted me. He says I should do the rest of the show by myself. Well, that's pretty interesting. All right. So, let's see. Right. Back to what I was going to talk about earlier. Let's talk about the red-hot New York Yankees, in which Nick and John would kill me talking about the Yankees. I'm telling you, as a fan this year, I didn't expect them to be this hot. And coming into the year, my expectation was just to watch the minor league kids play. That was my only expectation. But wow, this team has beaten my expectations. I thought in a year or two from now, they were going to be a legit playoff team for the next, 5, 6, 7 years like they used to be. Because most people know the Yankees is the dominant baseball team that they are. But you look at the record. Think about this. Who would have thought that the New York Yankees, a team that had wiped off all the experts early in the season, said, they're not going anywhere this year. Forget about the Yankees. Forget about them. Well, let me tell you guys something. Being 11 games above 500 is truly astounding. Truly, truly astounding for a team that had no expectations going into the regular season. And when we talk about how the minors were supposed to help this team going on in the future, well, they clearly have. When you look at Judge, he's doing something amazing that few New York Yankees have ever done, and that is hit so many home runs early on in the season. It's not even Mother's Day yet. I mean, that's just incredible. And then when you look up and down the lineup, you see a bunch of veterans, and my favorite veteran right now has to be Brett Garner, because he is he's on his way to having one of his best years in pinstripes. And overall, this lineup gets a lot of contributions. I mean, it's not just one guy every night that, helps the Yankees. It's all about who gets hot at the right time, who's hitting the big home runs, because this team clearly hits a lot of home runs, no matter what. Now, I agree with a lot of people that we should give the Yankees until Memorial Day, or at least till early June, to say that they are going to be a team that will be in the postseason. Right now, my expectation as a fan, even though we're 11 games above 500, and I'm calling for it now, I think this is going to be at least a 95-win team if they keep playing like this. 95 wins the most. Now, is it going to win them the division? See, I don't really want to jinx it for them. I don't want to say, oh, they're going to win the division. They're going to at least make it into the top 2 wild card spots. And as a fan, I want to see them win the division. I don't want the anxiety of a 1-game wild card playoff in October. But I'm just calling for 95 wins now, and we make the playoffs no matter what happens. Now, when you look at the American League East as a whole, and just looking at it realistically going long-term down the stretch, I think the Yankees' only concern long-term for somebody to challenge them for the division this early are the Baltimore Orioles. And the Orioles actually have a lot of veterans on their team that are pretty young. I mean, that's good because, the Orioles have been a dominant team this decade. I mean, you look at how many times they won the American League East. So all I'm going to say is that's the team, if you're a Yankee fan, that you should be worried about. When you look at it long term. So looking ahead to what the Yankees have to deal with in their schedule, they have a pretty interesting 4-game series coming up. And that is with the red-hot Houston Astros. Not an easy team to deal with, but when you look at the home record for the Yankees this year, they've only lost 3 games. I mean, that's impressive this early in the season. And what's also special about this weekend is that they're going to retire Derek Jeter's number on Sunday night. And if you want to catch that, that's actually going to be on ESPN on Sunday night at 7:30. Because I've checked the schedule and ESPN's website confirmed it. So it's going to be 7:30 on Sunday. I'll give the general time: 6:30 Central, 5:30 Mountain, 4:30 Pacific. So that way, if you look up to Derek Jeter, you don't want to miss the ceremony, which is going to take place a half hour before the game. But when we talk about the Astros, they get contributions too everywhere in the lineup. I'm not going to get into players' names specifically, but they're sort of like the Yankees. I mean, they get hits whenever they need them. And the only thing that's different about the Astros is that they actually have better pitching than the Yankees do, because the Yankees pitching is very, very questionable this year. The only reason why I could think the Yankees lost last night, CC Sabathia. That's the only reason why I can blame the Yankees losing. Severino, he's been okay. They called up that kid, Jordan Montgomery. I really can't judge him this early. You have Luis Severino, can't really say. You have Pineda, can't really say. I think the best pitcher on the Yankees right now is Masahiro Tanaka. Whenever Tanaka's pitching, the Yankees get a lot of runs scored. I mean, when you look at the numbers, when Tanaka's on the mound, big win percentage for the Yankees every time Masahiro Tanaka has pitched this year. So, looking at it, my only concern would be starting pitching. I mean, the bullpen's okay. It's not great, but it's good enough to win games. Then you have Chapman blowing a save on Sunday night, but we're not going to get into that. Point is, I expect this team to win 95 games, and that's the bottom line. Now on to the New York Mets, who can't even sweep a series. It's just a joke with this team. It's just crazy. I'm sorry. It's disgraceful. Okay. I understand that they've won the past 4 series. Okay. I get that. But for crying out loud, you're playing a very crappy, awful San Francisco Giant team. You couldn't even sweep the San Francisco Giants? Really? Really? Okay. Let's recap today's game, shall we? Let's do that. Because Nick and John would literally be angry and agreeing with me on everything. So, here's what happened today. So, let's go all the way to the ninth. Let's go to the 6th inning. Let's make it reasonable because I don't need to get into it. So, here's what happened. Today, the Mets were up 3-1 in the 6th inning. Yes, in the 6th inning. I'm trying to look up who pitched today because it was some guy who used to pitch for the Nationals. That way I get my recap here properly. Let me load it up because I don't want to give any misinformation because then I'll get in trouble in the chat. All right. Oh, boy. Otto's having a fun time in the chat room not talking about baseball because he could care less about it. All right, let's wait for this recap to load because again, as somebody who's on the radio, I don't want to give any inaccurate information. Okay, I should be prepared. Oh, okay. Here it is. I remember the guy's name now. Tommy Malone pitched 6 innings today. He left with a 3-run lead, but there were runners in scoring position because I wasn't actually in front of the TV. I was listening to most of the game on the radio until I got home. So they bring in a reliever in the 6th. I forget the guy's name right now. But here's what happened. So on a sac fly, the Giants get a run in the 6th, 3-2. They get out of the inning. So for 2 innings, they kept the lead today. 3-2. So at first, the smart decision by Terry Collins was to put Jeurys Familia in. So what happens in the top of the 9th inning? The obvious reason what my friend, who was a diehard Met fan, was texting me today on Facebook. Fatigue. And I completely agree with her. Collins should have known that Familia was under fatigue because he did pitch 2 straight games. So you wonder, okay, there's a rest day coming up. They're playing the Brewers this weekend. And you think to yourself, okay, maybe, just maybe, the Mets will sweep a series today. This is the day that they'll do it. No, they don't. No. Familia blew the game today. a 3-2 lead. The guy gives up 3 runs. Let me make sure I got the number right. Yeah, here we go. 4 runs in 1 inning. 4 runs. This is your star closer. And he can't win you a close 3-2 ball game. This is a terrible San Francisco Giants team. You couldn't sweep them? And by the way, I don't want to hear people blame Terry Collins. Okay? I don't want to hear anybody complain about Terry Collins. Okay? Because here's the thing with Terry Collins. It was his decision, okay, to put Familia in the game. It's his decision. But here's what happened. Here's what happened. Oh, boy. I'm just lost for words. As soon as the game ended today, I put on WFAN with Mike Francesa. Everyone's blaming Terry Collins. And I'm going to openly admit that I work with Met fans. Yes, I do. Because a majority of people who work at Long Island Jewish Hospital are actually Met fans, including my bosses. So if I have to go to work tomorrow and they tell me that they want to blame Terry Collins, if they even say blame Terry Collins, I'm not going to hear it from them, okay? This is not Terry Collins' fault. Hang on for a second, guys. I want to quickly apologize for the muting for a second if anybody's listening to it. But yeah, I don't want to hear anybody blame Terry Collins. Bottom line, I'm enough. Please stop it. It was Familia's fault today. He was fatigued. 25% you can blame on Terry Collins, but it was Familia who was responsible. He was the one who got the loss today in the loss column in the stat book. You look at today's game, May 10th, 2017. New York Mets versus San Francisco Giants. Loser. Familia. Wasn't Tommy Malone today. Tommy Malone actually kept the lead today. Collins didn't want to overwork him. 6 innings. Not bad. The bottom line is, Collins in the future has to be very, very careful of his pitches. Because it's bad enough that the Mets have their pitching problems lately. We'll get into Matt Harvey in a sec. If you know your closer's fatigued, don't let him get a game. You could have given him 2 days rest before you went to Milwaukee. Boy. The Mets never seem to do anything right. Now they have to deal with the Brewers. The Brewers are a pretty decent team. But now we have to quickly talk about Matt Harvey. And it is a joke that Matt Harvey did what he did this past weekend. And that was the rumors involving his personal life got to him. Didn't show up to Citi Field on Saturday for throwing. And so stupid is, they should have announced that he was suspended on Saturday. Instead, Sandy Alderson has this big press conference on Sunday, and he says, we're going to suspend Matt Harvey. We're going to suspend him for 3 games. He violated team rules. Well, you dummy. You could have told us that on Saturday. At first they said, oh, Cinco de Mayo partying. Cinco de Mayo partying. Then they say that he got sick. Then they say that he broke up with his girl. Something happened with his girlfriend. Is the New York Post seriously looking for more stuff to put on the gossip column? At least Matt Harvey apologized. At least Matt Harvey apologized. Okay? At least he did. Right? He did. And now we have to move on. Now we have to move on from this. And believe it or not, I actually have good news regarding the Mets. I actually do. I don't know if Nick Durst did it on the Mets cast, but you can check that out on. Oh man, I even forget the name of the website right now. Oh, EliteSportsNewYork.com. That's the website. You can check out the Mets cast. John wasn't actually on that. He's usually a part of that, but I actually found this out. This was actually from Terry Cowan's mouth during one of his press conferences earlier this week. I actually want to credit Jerry Recco from WFAN giving the exclusive on this, where he found the audio bit and then played it on Boomer and Carton's show the other day. Terry Cowan said that in a week and a half, Yoenis Cespedes might possibly resume baseball activities, and or he might be back in the lineup before Memorial Day or on Memorial Day. So I guess that's the only positive news that we can talk about with the Mets. Their sluggers coming back when they're getting hot at the right time. So I figured, let's do a little Harvey magic, shall we? Let's listen to Matt Harvey's press conference, if I can find it. So it'll take me a while to load it up because my internet is so darn crappy. Boy, I'm telling you. Jonathan Kramer has problems with his internet. I have problems with my internet. Usually Nick Durst would have had it loaded up right now, but it's not. So let me try something. This is really good radio. Because I'm actually going to end the show a little bit early by playing some music. Yes, I actually have some music to play for you guys if, we get cut off. I'm really into the Now That's What I Call Music series. I have a bunch of the CDs, but the other day Spotify posted it. And I figured, as a treat for everyone tonight, I'm going to play the verse after Harvey's press conference from the other day. So if I find it, and then I'll just word it out from what I can say from it. Jeez. Matt Harvey press conference. Jeez. Done. Guys, we're having technical difficulties. My keyboard is acting up. This is what happens when you have a crappy laptop. I figured to make airtime interesting. I've actually had this laptop for a couple years now. It's got me through the good and bad. But hopefully... Okay, I'm getting some search results. So stupid. It's not a YouTube channel, but apparently... NBC, who owns... doesn't want to upgrade you. Come on. Here we go. Oh, I have a better video for you, everyone. Here are Met fans acting to Harvey's. This is a better video. is, folks. If it loads up, I'll play it on the air right now. Die-hard New York Met fans react to Matt Harvey's apology. Come on, YouTube. Don't let us down. There's a lot of impatient people who are stuck in traffic who want to listen to this. Here we go. Let's wait. This is good radio? I am so sorry about that, everyone. Let's refresh the video for a sec. Just Wi-Fi devices are on the network. They slow down my bandwidth. A minute. Guys, before I play this video, Nick texted me. Yes, he was asking me, John Brown. If you're just tuning in, I'm your host, Andrew Pollack, tonight. I'm coming to you from my studio here in New York City. Our usual other host, Nick, who has his studio somewhere else in New York City, and our other host, John, who has a facility in New Jersey, actually couldn't be on the air tonight, so I'm taking over. And I wanted to play a video that, we were on the talking baseball because, here in New York, we love baseball so much. So I wanted to play this clip from SNY, and basically Matt Harvey apologized for, not showing up to team practice on Saturday, getting suspended. So I'll wait for it to load up. And I want to apologize if anything's happening, which is play and then see what happens. Jesus. Come on. Load. All right, I'm going to turn off my phone's Wi-Fi and then see what happens, because this is getting ridiculous, folks. This is not good radio. People are getting impatient. Oh, wait. I can impersonate that guy Grim from YouTube. People are pissed. There we go. So, I don't know what's wrong with the video, guys. I wanted to give you fans' reaction to Matt Harvey's apology, but it's not working. I mean, the best guy to react to this would be Nick Durst. So, let's see if we can get him on. I don't think he's on. Maybe we can add him to the chat. Oh, boy. Folks, I'm having a hard time adding people to this call. Oh, boy. I'm having problems, everyone. I'm having problems adding people. Oh, here we go. Here's the video. Come on. This is a good reaction. Gotta be kidding me. No! Folks, I want to apologize. The video is having a very hard time loading. This is a very pissed off New York Mets fan reacting to the Matt Harvey apology, and apparently I can't load it. Technology, you love them and you hate them. The only reliable technology is my PlayStation 4. Oh, boy. I'm so sorry. I wish the video would load, but it's not loading. Hang on for a second, guys. I'm playing a live stream right now, and apparently I don't hear my audio. Oh, boy. Well, this is not good radio, folks. This is very odd. Says I'm on the air, but I'm not on the air. Boy. Let me refresh the page. I'm on, load up. Ay, 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 ay. Let's see. I'm checking to see if I'm on the air. I mean, oh, I am on the Good, I'm on the air. Well, this is stupid. This is what it sounds like when you're on radio delay, folks. All right, so I think the video's loaded up. So let's try to refresh the video. It'll play. So here we go, everyone. Matt Harvey's pissed off Met fan reacts to Matt Harvey apology. All right, so there you have it. It's pissed off Met fans react to Matt Harvey's apology from the other day regarding him not showing up to the ballpark. There's a whole controversy in the New York area. It made headlines. He got suspended 3 games. And, you know, I do agree. I mean, if Matt needs to prioritize overall, I mean, in the apology, I mean, I'm not going to play it right now because we're really short on time because the next program's starting in about 6 minutes. But I do agree. Harvey has to prioritize his career. No question. Because his team is not in a good place right now. They can't sweep series, but they're somehow winning series. Matt just needs to get his mind back on baseball. And that's the bottom line. And pissed off Met fans clearly are not happy, and they're frustrated. They're frustrated with Matt Harvey, and they're frustrated with the fact that they can't beat the baseball team today. All right, so I'm going to end the show early because there's, no other topic I can come up with. I mean, all thing I can do is play music for the next couple minutes. I want to thank everybody who tuned in tonight to sports, politics, and more. Really means a lot. Hey, I'm trying to find the music I want to play. That's fair. I can't find what I'm looking for. I wanted to play some music so that way we can there we go. I found the music. So we will be back next week. Same place, same time. Hopefully our host Nick Durst and John Brown come back on the air. Really hope they do. That we didn't leave me hanging. Thank you all for listening. This has been Andrew Pollack. Good night from New York City, and I will leave you with Bad Things by Machine Gun Kelly featuring Camila Cabello.